Hi, I'm Anthony from Sydney Backyard Veggies. I'm over at my Brussels sprouts patch where I've gone and interplanted some pak choi. I'm just having a look at them at the moment. This is about 2.5 weeks in and they seem to be doing pretty well. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I go about interplanting leafy greens in between my slower growing crops, just to increase productivity in the space, and how I grow them from seeds. Okay, what I'm going to do today is I am going to plant pak choi in between my rows of Brussels sprouts. I like to plant fast-growing vegetable crops and leafy greens in between my slower growing crops like my Brussels sprouts. It gives me a chance to get a second crop in the same space. I like planting pak chois because for me, it's a turnaround of about 4 weeks from seedlings to harvest, and so I can get the crop out of the ground and give my slower growing plants the space to grow out. They don't actually need this space at the moment, but in 4 weeks time they will. So what I do is if you can just see that, I start off a punnet of seedlings. This is called Pak Choi. This is the white stemmed variety. What I'll do is I usually grow them in punnets, probably 80 plants in a punnet, and I actually separate each of these seedlings and plant them out individually. But what I've done first, before I plant it out, is I've gone through, dug over the section in between the 2 rows of broccoli, flattened it out, and what I'll do now is separate the seedlings and plant them into the ground. Okay, to separate the seedlings, I essentially just bring it out of the punnet and just separate it like that. And they're actually quite durable, the seedlings. They can handle a fair bit of roughness, but I essentially just separate the seedlings individually like that. And I'll do that slowly. And yeah, you might lose the occasional one, but it's no biggie. There's a few there, and I just essentially do that, and these are the ones that get planted out. So what I'll do is now I'm going to just plant them out. So I'm going to be planting these seedlings out now. I try to get 5 centimeters of spacing across the bed, and look, between 5 and 10 centimeters down the bed. Okay, so what I'll do here is I take each of the individual seedlings, and what I do is I take a depression, say about 5 centimeters apart, just put a tiny depression in there, put the seedling through in, and just plant it like that. And so what I'll do now is just continue spacing across the row. I put a little depression there so that the water can pool when I water at the end. And yeah, that's about it. That's as far as it goes. So it's actually quite easy. And as you go along the row, I'll probably get 5 or 6 across the plant, and you can even just push it in with your finger like that and it will settle in. So you end up getting 5, and I'll just plant the rest of the bed. Okay, the seedlings have been planted out. We'll come through now and give them a water, and then I will give them a liquid fertilizer feed probably once a week, just to really get them going. In 4 weeks time I will harvest them. I do tend to harvest my choi on the smaller side. That's the way my family like to eat them, but you can let them grow a lot larger. But if you are going to let them grow a lot larger, don't use the interplanting technique. It will crowd out your main crop. So yeah, just make sure you keep an eye on all the insects as well. They are a magnet for cabbage fly moth. So I use homemade white oil to control cabbage moth caterpillars. So yeah, I'm just on this windy afternoon gonna go and start my next round of pak choi seedlings. What I'm gonna do is that I'll use your standard punnets, no separate cells, nothing like that, just a standard punnets that you get from any shop, or for that matter, anytime you buy seedlings. I tend to reuse these every time. What I do is I do fill them up with standard seed raising mix. I don't make any special seed raising mix, but I do find the variety I'm using doesn't have as much bark as you would get from other varieties. So try to find a seed raising mix that has a lot less bark content if you can. I find that the amount of bark tends to get in the way of the seeds, especially the smaller seeds that I'm trying to grow. What I would do, fill up the punnets to the top. I actually don't compress them or anything like that. Just what I do is just fill them up, and then what I do is I give it a real deep soak with the hose. By doing so, it will naturally depress, and it actually will firm up, so it will give you a bit of a gap at the top, and that's what I'm trying to look for at the moment. So once I fill these up, give them water, then I'll be off to planting. Okay, so now that I've watered my punnets, what I do now is just sprinkle a thin layer of seeds across each of the punnets. The Pak Choi variety that I grow is called Choi. It's a white stemmed variety. I find it goes really well in my context, and the family enjoy it. I buy from this seed supplier because I can get them in bulk. So at the moment I've bought 1,000 seeds, and they have lasted the last 2 years, and I do plant a lot of them. So once I've put my seeds on the seed bed that I have in the punnets, I get vermiculites. I'm using a coarse variety of vermiculite at the moment. But what I do is actually just give a light sprinkle just to cover the punnets with the vermiculite. So hopefully in 5 days these will germinate. These will be outside. In about 2 weeks time, they'll be ready to be planted out as they start showing their first true leaf. And that's what we planted on. That's what I had used to plant out in the earlier part of the video. So good luck with raising your own seedlings, and good luck with your own interplanting. It is a great way to increase productivity. It's a great way to utilize spare space in your patch while you're waiting for your slower growing plants to grow. Thanks for joining me, and hope to see you in the next one.